Proceed. It was dope, IQ.
Yeah, what's happening, world? What's happening, world? Right back at y'all. We've been on vacations and everything, and took a break. But we back at you with another episode of the 426 show. Me and my dog, Big OC.
Right. You know, we went on a vacation, but at the same time, we still working, we still planning, we still trying to get stuff right. Bigger and better things. Trust me. Change is coming soon. Be on the lookout.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Even in our hiatus, we still stay building and stacking like Lego blocks, man. We're going to expand this brand and keep bringing everyone news and information and try to even out the odds going on in the world today.
Straight up.
How was your vacation, though, man?
Hey, it was cool, man. Got a little bit of sun. You know what I'm saying? Got to relax a little bit, finally make a move after all this COVID shit. So,
right.
It's just, it was much needed, got a little bit of a recharge. So, ready to get back into it,
Yes, sir. Ready to get right back into it, man. So in today's story, we're going to go ahead and we're going to get right into it. As everyone knows, there's been all type of riots going on over this. Another young black man, Mr. Duante Wright, was terminated, killed by police officers. Apparently, it looks like he panicked and was trying to make a getaway or whatever or whatnot. And then this officer here, Miss Kim Porter, she did what some of these police do best. She took another life, man. Yeah. So today she was charged with second-degree murder.
Right. Well, she resigned, from the police department, and as she should, based on her making a mistake, right? But understanding that, I'm sure she knows that I'm sure she's been counseled already by the union attorneys that what the prospects are of her getting any type of time or her doing any kind of or get any kind of significant consequences based on this. This has happened before. You know what I'm saying? So usually cops don't get too much punishment based on them saying they made a mistake. So they're going to categorize this as a mistake, an accident, but unfortunately when cops make mistakes and they have accidents, sometimes people end up dead.
Yeah, people lose their lives, man. Like that's a mistake you can't take back, and this is like the Oscar Grant situation. It's similar in the mistake that she made with the mistake, because I don't understand how anyone can confuse a taser gun with a real gun. Two different structures, two different colors, and two different locations on the body, two different weight. One's fatal, the other one is meant to immobilize, stabilize the situation. So I don't get how they do this. It makes absolutely no sense to me. And it looked like it was staged anyway. When you're looking at it, you can hear taser, 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 taser. When people go and tase somebody, I never heard a cop go taser, taser. I never heard that. So I don't understand why she was chanting that. And I mean, am I missing something? Or have you seen that before?
Yeah.
You heard him say taser, taser, taser?
Yeah.
I haven't. I heard him say something like, I'm going to taser you. If you don't stop, I'm going to taser you. But she's like, taser, taser, taser. And then she shoots him.
Yeah, Well, once again, like I said, we if we pay attention to what's been going on in the George Floyd case, you know, we're getting to hear some of the tactics, some of the
David Chauvin
training, and some of the you know, things that the cops or what's going on in their brains while they're, you know, responding to a call. You know what I'm saying?
right.
Regardless of what it is, you know what I'm saying? The training they have can be escalated based off mundane movements, based off people raising their voice, based off, you know, any sudden movements, based off how somebody's eyes are moving. So you know they have so much latitude within what they can do, and most of the time, you know, most normal folks that don't study the law and haven't been trained, you know, fall susceptible to these different tactics, and not willingly, but it's just if a cop is out there trying to be dirty, then, you know, he's going to pick up on any clue, key that he can to try and violate you. And that's what I think the main concern is. It's one thing killing folks, but it's another thing violating people.
Yeah. And the thing about it is these are mistakes that they can't take back, man. And it's like, she was a veteran, for one. She's been on the police force over 20 years. So
right.
It doesn't make sense to me how you confuse your taser with your gun. It just, that's what I'm stuck on. Like, I'm blown away by that. Same thing that happened to Oscar Grant in Oakland. It's like, man got shot. The officer said that he confused his gun with his taser. Like, what type of training are these people receiving? What type of lack of training are these people seeing?
Nah. See, that's where we begin to fall into the trick bag, right? I'm not gonna call it training. I'm not ever gonna, you know, give them the benefit of, oh, it's training. Nah, it's not the lack of training. It's the training that makes cops sometimes lose their common sense.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I believe sometimes they're trained out of their common sense, because sometimes they have so many different cues and keys that they're looking at. Which bag are they going to put you in depending on the interaction you're having, right?
Right.
Because, you know, you some of them just talk crazy. So, you know, that right there is provoking. So, you know, it's kind of like, is the cop there to de-escalate the situation? And I think in some of these cases that we're seeing, a lot of times it's law enforcement that's been, you know, guilty of escalating some of these situations. You know what I'm saying? And that's like you starting to fight and then shooting somebody.
Yeah, most definitely. Like the officer, like the second lieutenant that just got maced by the police officers the other day. And all that, they were really aggressive, like in their approach to him. Like the aggression wasn't necessary. There were threats, guns drawn. Like I wonder. I mean, I don't understand how police expect people to act when there's a gun pointed in their face. The average citizen doesn't have to come across that. The average citizen doesn't even see a person with a gun, let alone a person pointing a gun at your face that could take your life and end your life at any second. And it's just a matter of time, just wipe you off the face of the earth. So, yeah, you're right. I shouldn't use lack of training, because what they do is they use that as an excuse to bill and ask for huge budgets and everything to finance these police departments. That it seems like a lot of them, it's not seeming like they've been dropping the ball. It's not.
Oh, and you know, just like I'm saying, if you pay attention to the George Floyd trial, and listen to the experts that they have up there, right?
Uh-huh.
And listen to all the training that these experts have gone through that have been paid for by whatever state they live in, by whatever city they live in. And this is hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of training on top of hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of salary, right?
Right.
But still, people are dying on their watch, you know, and they don't have good explanations for it, right?
Yeah,
So, you know, I
whatsoever.
don't think the cities or the states are getting a proper return on their training dollars. You know what I'm saying? And once again, look at some of these police officers. I always look suspiciously at people that become police officers in their 30s.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, that's
I'm not trying to deny anybody a job, but I just don't think you've been through life and developed some sort of things about you that now you're going to be a cop. And I don't know why. And I don't necessarily know your history, what you were doing before you became a cop. You know what I'm saying? And what we're starting to find is in some of these cases that, you know, a lot of these dudes that were cops, you know, they was working at Subway 6 months before and shit. You know what I'm saying?
right.
So it's like, you know, what part of the game is that?
Right. It's like people are starting. It's like joining a gang at 30. It's like,
Right.
what took you so long to decide that you wanted to choose that lifestyle? It's like it's either in you or it's not. Like
Exactly.
So I'm gonna read the article from NPR. I'm gonna read some of the article. Here's what it says. It says Kim Porter, the former Brooklyn Center, Minnesota police officer who shot Duante Wright, has been charged with second-degree manslaughter, according to Minnesota authorities. The Washington County Attorney's Office announced the charges Wednesday. Certain occupants carry an immense responsibility, and none more so than a sworn police officer, said Mr. Ali, an assistant county attorney and head of the county's major crimes unit. We will vigorously prosecute this case and intend to prove that Officer Porter abrogated her responsibility to protect the public when she used her firearm rather than her taser. Right. And it says the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehensions announced Porter's arrest earlier Wednesday. She has been released after posting a $100,000 bail bond. Porter shot Wright, a 20-year-old black man, during a traffic stop Sunday while officers were attempting arrest after discovering an outstanding warrant. In body camera footage, Wright can be seen pulling his hands free and ducking back into the car. Porter yells, "I'll tase you, taser, taser, taser," then fires her handgun. Wright died on the scene. Police officials have characterized the shooting as an accident, said Porter. Porter mistook her handgun for her taser. So, $100,000 bond. That's all, man. It's a $100,000 bond. You know, yeah, she's a police officer and all that, but come on now. I've seen people with higher bail for lesser offenses than taking a life, for one.
Well, you know, I think the first instance or the first thing that people are gonna, you know, look at and always compare, right? They're gonna say, you know, what looks funny is when we look at Dylan Roof, right?
Right.
Who shot up the church. We look at the Aurora shooter, you know, in Colorado. And, you know, what we find in those cases is those people massacred a lot of people. But they all had their day in court. You know what I'm saying? We know they were the killers of all these people, but they didn't have their trial right there and get judged right then and there. You know what I'm saying? They were taken into custody peacefully. So and and we know that they had already killed people, right?
Right.
So I think it's just kind of like a and it's not that we're trying to make excuses for anybody that doesn't comply. You know, we don't know what reasons people have to, you know, want to get away from the law, right? You know, we all say what we would do, what we wouldn't do, but until we're in that situation, who knows it? And nobody knows everything that's going on in somebody's life. But we just, you know, sometimes hope that the cop that's dealing with the situation is I'm always going to keep coming back to this common sense and just plain old humanity. But from the outside looking in, like I said, just surface level, it just seems like all these mass shooters that are white seem to go to jail, and all these black people that don't have no gun, fraudulent $20 bill. Duante Wright had bad tags, may have had some warrant, but either way, I'm you know, I think first off, that's how people are going to look at it.
Yeah, I'm
trying to answer that question.
Like it's like a broken record. It's like Groundhog, like the movie back in the day, Groundhog Day. It's like everything keeps repeating itself. It's like these shootings keep happening over and over and over again with like terrible excuses. Like, how can you mistake your pistol for a taser? It's crazy. It makes no sense to me at all whatsoever. And at this point, you know, I think that the charges of her being charged as second-degree murder, I think that's a good charge because I think it's going to stick. She's going to do some time. She's going to do some time, but how much time? That's what we gotta figure out. Like, how much does second degree hold? Like that's what is it. Will she get the maximum? You know, we don't know. But all I know is I'm sick and tired of seeing the same old thing, the same old scenario. You know,
Yeah,
one person at the end of the gun, one person going to the graveyard.
Yeah,
over nothing.
Yeah, it's kind of like you have the people that are being policed, right? Afraid of the police.
Right.
And then the people that are doing the policing act like they afraid of the people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So everybody is walking around scared.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that right there, it only can create chaos.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because there's no agreement amongst the two groups. Yeah, I understand that your job is to police me, but I'm afraid of the way you police.
Yeah.
And then I'm over here saying I'm the police, but I'm nervous about you too.
Yeah, everybody's on eggshells and whatnot. But here, and like the boy was clearly scared. But here's my thing. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna go ahead and say it. You know, I heard the conversation. I've heard his mom talk. She talked about it. You know, and you know she talked. She was actually on the phone with her son, Duante Wright, when he was being pulled over. And it seems to me like the training that he received at home, like his mother was Caucasian, his father was a black man. And it seems like just the whole interaction that she was explaining what happened when he called his mom when he was being pulled over. And he was panicking. Like, Mom, I'm being pulled over. And she was like, okay. He's like, what's up with the insurance? And she tells him, just put me on, when the cops come, just put me on the phone with them. And like, it seems like the training that he had, she should have been like, listen, put your phone down, put it on speakerphone, put your hands up to where they can see them, and just deal with it. Calm down. Let's deal with it. We'll get through this. But it was like Miss Cleaver, it was like Mr. Rogers or something on the other line. Like, it was like so naive, her call was just so nice. Just put the cops on the phone when they come, you know. And it's like, no, that's not how it works. Like, this man is out in the field. This man is out in the street. Like, you got to train. You have to know how to deal with police. First of all, there's certain dealings within police. There's certain things that are going to trigger a police officer. They get triggered for nothing. They get triggered for nothing. So you have to be able to keep a cool head. You have to be able to listen. You have to be able to not panic in these situations, because at the end of the day, it'll get you killed. At the end of the day, you'll get hurt. Like, I'm not trying to fault her, but I'm just being honest. Like, if that was one of my friends on the other line, if that was my daughter or whatever on the other line, I'm gonna tell her straight up, calm down. First of all, calm down. You know, calm down. Let's have a level head about yourself. Just deal with the officer. Don't be scared right now. Don't panic right now. Let's deal with it, you know. And I didn't hear that from her, from what she was saying their conversation went like. And obviously he made a bad decision, you know. It's terrible he made that decision, but does that decision that he made, does he deserve to die? No, it didn't warrant him being shot. It definitely didn't warrant him being shot. You know, he was obviously nervous, and it looked like he was nervous and he panicked. But unfortunately, his life was taken because of a crucial mistake. You know, and so regardless of what he did on his end, I'm not blaming him. I'm not blaming his mother. I'm blaming the officer that took his life. But that's something that needs to be talked about on how we interact and deal with these police officers, man.
Yeah, but you know, even with that, you know, you have to look at the situation as you're teaching your children how to interact with the police, because yes, you don't want them to get hurt, right? You want them to come home. You don't want anything to go wrong, but your child may be thinking, what did I do to have to act like this around a police officer, right? Because as children, most of their interactions, how they learn about police is totally different than once you get to be an adult, right?
Right.
And especially depending on the neighborhoods or the demographics that you come from, right? We all look at police in different ways. So when you're sitting down with with little minority kids, or sitting down getting conversations about how you need to act, what you need to do, hands on the wheel, hands up, answer all questions, yes sir, no sir. It's like, why am I, like, at the same time, it's like, no, you didn't do anything wrong, but I'm training you in a way that someone assumes you did something wrong.
Yeah, so
I gotta teach you how to deal with it, because someone's gonna maybe possibly think you did something wrong just because of how you look.
Yeah, because, and I mean, I've had it. You know, I've had lots of police interactions. You know, pulled over, stopped, and like I'm seasoned at it. Being you know, an older man, being a young black man, growing up in an area massively populated by white people. You know, I've been on the other end, and I see the games that these police play. They try to trick you up in questions. They try to accuse you of stuff. They try to get you unraveled. I'm not saying all cops, but some of the cops that I experienced, they've done that. They try to get you unraveled. They try to, you know, question your intelligence. They try to question what you're saying. Like, they don't want to accept what you're saying as truth. Sometimes when a police officer pulls you over, you're already a suspect to them. You know, I've had good cops that let me go as well, but it all starts with the interaction, and his interaction, the way he handled that, he wasn't trained, and we as black people, we got to train our kids on how to deal with these cops, because at the end of the day, we want our kids to come home to us. And unfortunately, we shouldn't be in a state of where we have to train our kids to survive and deal with police officers. But in this day and age, it's real. In this day and age, it's real. I've had a gun pulled out on me, drawn on me from a police officer. I had police officers accuse me of lying, accuse me of just coming from committing crimes. And then they say stuff that they want to trigger you and they want to get you to overreact and act. And it's some of it is mental, some of it is them trying to dominate and overcompensate for their insecurities and whatnot. And we got to be on point at all times. So I like what she was saying, her conversation with her son, man. We talked about this subject long enough, and we've been talking about police killings. They continue to happen. Something needs to change, and so we're gonna go on to the next subject. The next subject is here we go. The defense begins with the David Chauvin trial. Another person murdered by the police. So they started their defense today, man. Well, not today, a couple days ago. And to me, I don't know. It's like it's an open and shut case to me.
Well, what you're seeing is, and what you have to understand when you're looking at the defensive case is they only need one juror.
Yeah.
Right. Only one. Right. So, I'm going to bring in, somebody to just say what I want them to say. And they're going to say it with a whole bunch of credentials because I'm paying them to say it. Because, it seems like there's experts out there that are always going to side with the cops.
Right.
And the judicial system is allowing this to go on, right? We're looking at the same courtroom, right? We're seeing experts all say he died of this. Now, this week, we're seeing some other cats that act like they didn't see what those other experts saw.
Right.
Right. So now you're sitting back like, wait a minute. This is how people get caught up in courtrooms. This is why justice is not getting served. You're allowing these experts to come in here and say things that your eyes are seeing. You know what I'm saying? If I'm a juror and I'm looking at the defense's case, I'm saying, wait a minute. Did I just hear you? Did I just hear this guy have to show you 6-7 videos for you to see that this dude's knee was on his neck?
Right.
And you're telling me you've seen all the body cam. You've looked at all the information. You've looked at all angles. You're getting paid $350 an hour. But the cross-examination has to dig you out of a hole that you dug for yourself. You're up here sounding super dumb because the jury's been looking at the tapes. You've been at home as an expert. You're able to watch the testimony of everyone that's come before you. You're able to watch the trial, right?
Right.
So you have the nerve to then come on after everything that you've seen and say, I don't believe that the position that he was in, the control position, causes any pain.
Let's go to some footage in the trial. Bring some of that up. Capture what you're talking about. Yeah, because at the end of the day, man, we know what it was. We saw it, and they can lie all they want to, and that's pretty much what it is. But let's go to the tape. Go to some footage here and see what he's talking about. See the lies he about to spew.
resisting. I think he was not resisting because the officer said that he wasn't breathing.
You gonna bring it up?
Right?
Yeah.
The officer did, or when the Mr.
Oh, it's not there?
No.
Yeah, it's there.
I'm sorry. Mr. Lane said that.
Oh, I'm not seeing it on the screen over here.
The prior clip was that he's not breathing, right? Well, I heard that he's passed out. I didn't hear that not breathing. The passed out came from a bystander, right?
You don't see it?
Did you hear at some point in your review, Officer King say that he couldn't find a pulse? Yes. All of this would have been known to a reasonable officer in the defendant's position, correct? Yes. And the defendant's position is and was and remains, as we see here, at this moment, at this time, in this clip, on top of Mr. Floyd, on the street. Isn't that right? Yes. I have nothing further.
So here we see.
Rod, you were asked a lot of questions. Asked a lot of questions on cross-examination about the prone control position. Can you recall that? Yes. Can you describe what specifically you mean by prone control position? What is the placement of the knee relative to the back, neck, shoulders, etc.? Ideally 45 degrees in between the neck and shoulder blade. So 45 degrees coming in from the side? Yes. Angling down towards the lower body. And where would the shin be placed? Just below the knee, same thing around the trapezoid area. So there's a kind of hard spot in between the base of the neck and the shoulder blades. Is that the area you're talking about? It's the same. Can you describe by touching your back the area you're describing? So the knee would probably end up pretty much along the spine, and the shin would be along the trapezoid. And
No.
during the course of this your testimony, you were shown several short clips of things happening from time to time. Agreed? Yes. What's the problem in terms of the analysis by looking at just specific short clips? Does it really show the sequence of events? It just shows highlights of it. In terms of the analysis, the standard being the totality of the circumstances, right? Yes. And so when we kind of pick and choose, does it take into consideration everything that happens or that a reasonable officer would be doing at any particular time? No. And what would be another phrase for that? Kind of picking and choosing. 20/20 hindsight. Now, in terms of the when someone is in the prone control position, you testify that you don't consider that to be use of force, correct? Right. And that's why again? It's a control hold. So the suspect is controlled, hopefully searched, and all you're doing is putting some minimal body weight to keep their body immobilized.
All right. I have enough of that because even going into it, this dude couldn't tell us that Chauvin was on top of George Floyd.
Right.
Make it make sense.
It don't. That's why you gotta sit back and be like, man, this is why would they allow these type of things to happen in a place where you say, oh, we're looking for justice? Because once again, you have a jury looking at some guy who has got all these years in policing and all this training, and he's looked at all of the evidence and all the film, and he comes in and has the nerve to tell you, no, Chauvin wasn't on top of George Floyd. He wasn't on top of him. He was at a 45-degree angle. What?
Like, I don't like. And then you could just sit there with a straight face,
right?
And say that. See, this is some. You know what it is, man. You know what it is. And then he said, okay, you use the move. What did he say? The prone position.
Yeah.
You use the move to control a suspect, so you could search him. So this man used that move for 9 minutes. Over 9 minutes.
Right.
He had been dead from testimony of the coroner, from testimony of the paramedics that were there on the scene. He had been dead for almost 3 minutes. And this dude's still using that move.
Yeah, and that's where, you know, for anybody out there that wants to argue the case for the police, and if you are arguing the case for the police, you're doing it out of just a either it's something political, but it's not because of your love for police. It's not, and it's definitely not your love for human beings in general. You know what I'm saying? But once any person with any sense of humanity, once you see that George Floyd is no longer moving, he's no longer moving, just start right there. Forget everything else. Once you see him stop moving, everything that happens after that is what you should use to indict the police, because that's all I'm going to use. I'm going to keep it simple. I'm not going to look at all the technicalities. I'm going to say, when I seen the dude stop moving, something else should have occurred. That to me should have been a transition point.
Straight up.
When I see one policeman reach over to take a pulse and say, oh, I think he might be passed out, I'm expecting there to be some sort of shift.
Yeah, like then
you're saying that you've brought that up because you're expecting something to change now, even though you were scared, even though you're a police officer, but you were acting like a little girl and you couldn't push your buddy off because that wasn't your supervisor. Chauvin wasn't your boss. He wasn't your supervisor. He was your equal.
Right.
But you sat there scared like a little girl. And you talked like a little girl. You didn't talk forcefully.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You were wishy-washy about it. So everything from there to me is what indicts the officers. I don't care if you back the blue, whatever the hell you back. I'm just going to back humanity and common sense. Common sense.
So here's the thing, okay? Like these idiots that try to defend the police in this manner. Like, you know, like I said, not all cops are bad. But this right here, you're looking at bad police and you're looking at an evil person, an evil man. First of all, let's not talk about the other people that he's already killed. Why is he still why was he still even on the streets in the force in the first place?
But no one's going to bring that up. And that I want people to bring that up. Yeah. You know, when I'm watching people that want to back the blue, I need them to explain to me why Officer Chauvin has 17, 18 complaints against him and he's still a cop. I want to know why he's 17 years on the force, something like that, right?
Right.
But you're at the same level as some cats that are 6 months on the force.
Right.
So help me make that make sense.
And then
these cats are 1 year on the force, you 17, and y'all at the same level.
And then we say like this. Okay, they say, well, he died because he had drugs in his system. Where was the CPR? Because the police, if they arrive on the scene, somebody is overdosing, they're gonna try to at least resuscitate them. If they don't, they're gonna have the paramedics. Where was the attempt to resuscitate him if he was having a drug overdose? Let's say he was having a drug overdose. Where was the attempt to resuscitate him? What overdose maneuvers that police have been trained to use did they apply in this situation? None. He was not breathing. And once he wasn't breathing and they discovered he wasn't breathing, they still didn't make any attempt to resuscitate him. None whatsoever. No type of CPR was applied. And the paramedics were trying they were advising to do it, but the police were holding them back. So how is this not an open and shut case that we see with our own eyes? We saw what happened. And then we had this idiot right here on trial in the defense box talking about he wasn't on top of George Floyd. Chauvin wasn't on top. Where was he at? And he was on the side. He was laying next to him. He was on top of him. Like you can't. It's black and white. You can't deny that. You know what you saw.
He said, "Oh, Officer Chauvin had to brace himself on the car because he got thrown off balance by George Floyd's movements."
Right.
I'm like, man, you're not going to make me believe that these courts of law are in there trying to find justice. If somebody does get justice, that's just by the luck of the damn draw, as far as I'm concerned. Right. Like, damn, you got lucky. You got justice out of that spot. Because what I've been seeing in this trial is like, y'all got cats up here that are trying to disregard key situations. I'm seeing experts up there say, "Oh, I didn't see that like that." Oh, now that you've pointed it out, I see that, because they went through a sequence of there being something white in George Floyd's mouth, and the police tried to say, or the expert tried to say, it was a pill sitting in his mouth, right? But then the cross examination came back and said, "Sir, do you see George Floyd chewing in the cup foods?" Then they had to go to a point to where George Floyd even popped the gum out of his mouth and had to say, "Sir, do you see the gum there? So do you believe that the pill that you were pointing out possibly may have been the gum?"
Right.
So, man, they're trying hard to pin this drug thing, to make it this drug thing, you know. Oh, it was the fentanyl, it was the methamphetamine. So, I mean, I guess people sitting at home, if you're dumb enough to believe that George Floyd would be dead either way today, he never had any contact with the police, these experts want you to believe that today George Floyd would have been dead. If you believe that, then you're stupid as shit.
With or without interacting with him. So if that was the case, he would have been better off overdosing in the house.
Exactly.
Because somebody would have found him, and then they could have called 911. 911 could have came and resuscitated him. Could have did CPR, brought him back. But
exactly,
he died in the presence of police officers that didn't do nothing but take his life. Didn't do nothing but cut off his oxygen. They didn't attempt to bring him back. They didn't attempt to turn him over and slap his face. Are you okay? None of that. They checked his pulse. Pulse was nothing. He was dead. And the dude still remained on top of him, not to the side. He was on top. So that's for that, man. This trial, this case is like I said, is open and shut. The prosecution side, all the witnesses they brought, man, like the last two witnesses were devastating. The paramedics were devastating. The cardio doctors were. It was just the evidence that they presented. I mean, is pretty much they're using all these technical, terms, medical terms, and everything, but it pretty much is what we saw. We saw what happened. Common sense. If somebody is on your neck for 9 minutes straight, you're going to lose oxygen somehow, some way. You might not die, but you're going to pass out. And if you got a heart problem, you're going to die. If you got physical problems, you are going to die. He wouldn't have been, had Chauvin not ran into him that day, he probably would still be walking around today. Might be off some perks today. Might be off some perks. But he's still alive and breathing. He didn't deserve to lose his life that day. And with the BS that the defense is trying to bring up, it's crazy, man. And what's going on in Minnesota, right down the street and everything, I pray that the jury makes the right decision, because Minnesota's about to erupt. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's a volcano in the United States right now. It's about to erupt. If this man walks free, if Chauvin isn't convicted of guilty of this murder that we all watched him commit, then I pray for Minnesota, man.
No, it's not that even praying for Minnesota. It's just that you look at law enforcement, and you're going to have more people lose that respect, or whatever they do think about law enforcement. It's just going to be more evidence, weighing against the cops, that what they believe is the truth. You know what I'm saying? You have people that walk around and say, the police gonna get off. They gonna get off. Don't nobody care. And if that's what happens, then those people are justified in their thinking. You know what I'm saying? So, I would assume that law enforcement, the mayors, the governors, the city councilmen, you don't want your constituents walking around, not having any type of faith in law enforcement. But if you can't find justice in the places where they say you're supposed to get justice, then only thing people can do is talk shit. You know what I mean? That's all they got.
Yeah.
That's all they got.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, it comes down to the truth, man. And it's like we saw what we saw, and speaking the truth, and you sent this clip over. Let's get into this with CNN. This happened with Duante Wright, right?
Yeah.
This happened after he was killed,
Yeah, one of the protests now.
That is because they have just.
Hold on, we're gonna bring it in.
You may notice that my eyes are very watery. That is because they have just shot a huge amount of gas, and it's CS gas. It's really the strongest I have ever had stood in before during a protest, and we were all consumed by it. So was everyone standing near the precinct. Let me give you a look at the precinct. Site's going to come with me and show you. You can see people walking, because anything that you see how hazy it is? That is all tear gas, and it is extremely strong. If you look just now, I'm going to try to sort of stand in the street a little bit. You look there. Now you can see. Now you can see.
Y'all be twisting up the story.
You want to talk to me? You want to talk to me? Okay, cool. Don't take my mic, but we're cool. Okay. What's your name?
What's my name? My name is my name.
All right, so tell me what you think about what's going
What I
on
think
here.
about this is all the press and all the extra shit y'all do makes this worse.
You think so?
Yes. When people want to protest, they shouldn't do it in front of a fucking police courthouse. Shit like that. You get what the fuck I'm saying?
I want you to be careful. I want you to be careful. I really do.
What?
Of anything that can
Of
hit
what?
you. Of anything that can hit you. Look at all the stuff. Of this.
What?
Of
Do
this.
it look like I'm scared?
No, you don't.
Do it look like I'm scared?
You don't. You don't.
Exactly. Y'all need to get up out of here with all that twisting up the media and shit.
Okay.
Real shit.
You don't know me, but
I don't know you.
we're going to get to know each other. That's
You
what
gonna
we're
get to
going
know
to do.
each other,
Yes,
huh?
we are.
Let's
We
see.
are. We are.
How you gonna know me?
We're going to talk. I'm going to share
Yeah,
a number
let's
with
go.
you. All right, let's do it.
No, let's do it right
Let's
here.
do it. All right, here's my phone. Let's go ahead and share
Camera
your
out,
number.
talk about something that's real.
Tell me what's
Y'all
real.
just gonna edit out the shit that y'all
We're
don't
live.
know,
We
and
are
then y'all
live.
gonna edit out some other shit.
We're live right
You're
now.
not fucking live.
I'm live right now.
I don't care if you live or not.
Okay,
Get away from here with all that media shit that y'all doing.
Right now.
Look,
We're with CNN.
then
We're
take
live.
that camera all the way the fuck up there
We
then.
are going up there. That's
Take it
where
all the
we're
way the
going,
fuck
where you
up
stopped
there.
us.
Y'all doing all the extra shit for the backhand shit to make people look all crazier
We're
than what
going
the fuck
up
they
there.
are.
All right, then you watch us because
Take
that's
y'all
where we're
ass up
going.
there.
All right, so everybody's got a hot head right now, as you might imagine, because it is really, really hot right now. The crowd was there. You can see the police all out. We are getting a huge amount of CS gas. You are hearing some of those flashbangs.
Yeah, man, he was not having it. He was not having it, man. It's like, you know, and that's what I'm saying, man. Like everybody is on the edge. Like it's so volatile in the country right now because of all these shootings, because of the pandemic. All of this stuff all plays a factor, but these killings are people are on the verge. Everybody's ready to snap, man. Everybody's just ready to lose it right now. So I'm saying this verdict, this Chauvin verdict is very important. It's very important, not just to Minnesota. It's also important to right now the climate of the country. You know, and that the guy, you know, he's obviously he was angry and worked up and you know pissed off, and people were tired of this, man. People were tired.
I think my man, you know, I could feel his sentiment, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You know, most people, if you understand where he's coming from, and if you somebody who's, you know, been out there at protest or you've taken the chance to, you know, get out there in the mix and try and, you know, support whatever cause, you know, you're out there for, you know, you've seen the media, you've watched the media, and you've sometimes seen how, you know, your stories get manipulated, or your movement or whatever you're trying to champion gets manipulated by the media, right? So I think sometimes people, you know, get an understanding that, okay, you guys are playing the outskirts. You know what I'm saying? All the action is up there. You playing the outskirts, and then you creating a narrative. You're creating your own narrative based on what you see back here. Get up there with the leadership, or get up there where the action is, so you can really, you know, get the pulse and understand why people are amped up as much as they are. Don't create a story. The story is already there. And I think brother was just, you know, frustrated. And just like anybody, you know, you put a camera in front of somebody's face and you say you live, you know, the adrenaline was flowing. My man just didn't have words. He just wanted to get, you know, some of his frustrations off his chest. And the sister, you know, reporter, you know, she did well, but you can tell that
she was nervous, man. She was nervous.
She was nervous, but at the same time, she still came at it a way where any other type of reporter would not have been able to handle it like that. You know what I'm saying? Because she ended up with saying, yeah, me and you gonna get to know one another. Technically, that's confrontational in a way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But it's only us that can do that. Right?
Right.
It wouldn't have been an other reporter oh, we gonna get to know each other. And he was like, what you mean we gonna get to know each other? Oh, we gonna change numbers. We gonna talk.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? See,
Yeah.
other would have been either trying to back off, back away, get away.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, we those of us who understand. You know, we can sit back and denigrate the brother, but you know,
I
we
knew
understand.
it wasn't going to go well when he hit her with the Pusha T.
Right.
My name is my name.
Right.
Hit her with the Pusha T. I already knew he was turned up already. He wasn't. I knew it wasn't going to go well, man. But you know, I commend the lady. You know, she kept her composure. And Minnesota right now is man, it's crazy. They need to get it together. I know the mayor right now, the mayor probably ain't slept in 2 days, man. It's like there's no way like you could just be moving around calm and cool and collective like you're not walking in a dynamite city right now. It's a city full of dynamite, man. Everybody just waiting to explode, man.
Right.
And all because of the climate that the police across America have created. I'm not saying all cops are bad. I'm for sure not saying all cops are good, though. That's for real, you know. But
I mean, I'm not even. I don't even want to use that mantra anymore. You know what I'm saying? I don't even want to look at it that way. I don't want to say, oh, not all cops are bad. Why is that the test that not all cops are bad? That's how we're looking at it. We have to have a higher standard. Yeah. We have to expect more from the people that we entrust with your life, because at the end of the day, if I want to call the police when you know there's an imminent threat, when I need them to show up, but what we know is police don't usually show up till after, especially if something happens to you. You call them, then they show up, it's already over most of the time. But what we don't want is simple interactions to turn into somebody dying. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's something that I believe needs to be the use of force, the rules of engagement, all that stuff needs to be updated.
Yeah, well, you got to hit them with the disclaimer in the beginning, because you know they want to act like they're under attack, even though like I said, when they make mistakes, people get killed. When we make mistakes, we go to jail. So it's two different. So I just make my disclaimer. Like I said, I know some cops, some cool cops. I know a few cool cops. I still don't trust. I still don't trust them. But I know some cool cops, though. You know what I'm saying? A couple. Don't trust them. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, I've been on the other end. I've been on the other end of the spectrum. So that's just what it is. It's just like oil and water don't mix. So at the end of the day, they need to get it all under control. This policing in America is definitely a problem. And I say what I say as not all cops are bad, because they want to act like that's the picture that's painted. But then I hit them with, but not all cops are good. Because for sure, we are witnessing terrible policing, which has been going on since the beginning of time in every other precinct across the United States. You know, that's just what it is. And that's how it's been. And it needs to change, because at the end of the day, it's tearing apart the guts of this country. And I think people are really sick and tired and sick, and that's why things are changing and things are shifting. And at the end of the day, they need to get it together, man. And let's go to the next story with this with this Black Lives Matter. You know, everything is, see, all the stuff we covered today had some type of interaction with police. So it's like we're attacking the police, but we're not attacking the police. These are actual current events. If people weren't being killed, we wouldn't be talking about this. If people weren't rioting over people being killed, we wouldn't be covering this. There wouldn't be a Black Lives Matter. Or maybe it might not, you know. But what's up with the Black Lives? Like we had Tamika Mallory, right, with the Escalade, you know, the Cadillac commercial, which they try to justify now, saying that Spike Lee contacted her with his agency to shoot the commercial. But, you know, and before then, it was Tamir Rice's mother making the comments about how these organizations are capitalizing off of Black pain and suffering. And then here we are this week. Black Lives Matter representative goes and buys $1 million cribs. It's crazy, man.
Well, I don't know, man. I don't know, man. You know, I believe people are seeing that there is a monetary a bag, you know, that goes along with this Black misery, right?
Right.
And I believe that Black Lives Matter has been able to tap into the ultimate bag, because you know they what they've done is they've combined LGBT along with Black, along with police reform, to where, you know, they've grown a huge tent. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
you know, once you get to be big like that, then what comes knocking? Corporate sponsors, right? And what corporate
Right.
sponsors do is kick in. So at
Right.
the end of the day, you know, there's a bag to be had. And it looks like, you know, our misery is making, you know, some people some paper.
Right. And that's what it is, man. It's like, okay, I understand, like I said in previous shows, I understand for every activist and activist organization and people on the front line, you need capital to function. You need supplies. You capital to buy supplies. You need capital to bail people out of jail. You need capital to give people attorneys. You need capital to travel to events where you have to show up and make your presence felt. I get that, but when you going out buying $1 million estates, like this ain't it. But see, me, I always was conflicted with Black Lives Matter because of their platform. The platform changed over time, but I still didn't forget when they said that they wanted to do away with the nuclear family. And the nuclear family is man, woman, and child. So what do you mean you want to do away with the nuclear family? I still didn't forget that. So that raised my eye when Black Lives Matter had that on their website. You know, when you went to their website, and it was up there for a while, they changed it, and then, you know, then it was Black Lives Matter, then LGBTQ, and then that you don't need, if Black Lives Matter, you could be a Black lesbian, a Black gay person, Black trans, whatever. It's Black lives. We don't need the subdivision of the LGBTQ. Once again, what that does is that creates more division and separation. So I was always conflicted with Black Lives Matter, because do Black Lives Matter? Indeed, they do. The statement and the phrase, indeed. You know, the cause, if you're going to stand up for justice, I got to support. I got to back that. But it looks like it's more about materialistic things now than it is about the actual movement, you know. So here, New York Post ran this article. So it says Black Lives Matter co-founder Patrice Cullors has gone on a real estate buying binge in recent years, snagging 4 high-end homes for $3.2 million in the U.S. alone. Now, here's my thing. So if you're gonna buy homes, okay, are these homes going to be compounds? Are they going to be headquarters? Are you housing other Black Lives Matter members to strategize, or is this all personal gain? Is this all for you? Like, because I don't know what average person in America, which you're supposed to be representing, the average person in America, the person that doesn't have the capacity or the resources to stand up for themselves. That's where your organization comes in. So the common person in America doesn't have enough money to purchase 4 high-end homes for $3.2 million. This right here, this is suspect. It's like it's man, they bought houses in neighborhoods where there aren't many black people. So Black Lives Matter until it comes to real estate, until it comes to your zip code and where you live. Like,
You know, we you know, like you, I get conflicted, right? Do I support Black Lives Matter because they're saying Black Lives Matter and I'm so-called black? But I want it to be more than that, right? So I sit back and I say, what are the things that Black Lives Matter has accomplished, right? Like, what have they actually done? Like, that's what I'm looking to hear more of. I see the marches and I see all that, but I know some of the peripheral things, some of the different, laws that they've been pushing for, but what are the substantial, for as big as that organization is, I need to see something bigger. You know what I'm saying? I haven't seen nothing, that would be comparable to the size of their movement. You know what I'm saying?
right.
That's a lot of people. That more should be being done. And that's where I believe a lot of the skepticism comes in. We hear about all this money that's pouring in. We hear about, these members, spending big bread. Okay. But if you're producing, if you're getting shit done, then I don't think anybody has the issue.
Right.
So that's mostly my concern.
Right. Now, okay, I'm seeing that she did make some money in authoring a book that was published. It was called "When They Called Me a Terrorist." It was a bestseller, and she made some money from Warner Brothers. She also made some money producing content, right? But see, these things, I'm not saying like we don't deserve, if you're an activist, I'm not saying if you're an activist, you don't deserve to live nice. I'm not saying that. I'm saying what you're saying. Okay, for you to be able to ascend to different ventures from the backs of your back work of the groundwork that you covered is like, okay, like you gotta share that. You gotta share that with your supporters. You gotta share that with the people. You gotta let that be known, like what's going on. Like you gotta show your books have to be open. You have to have open books. You gotta let it be known what's going on, because it looks mighty funny. It looks very strange when someone that's an activist, all of a sudden they're in millionaire neighborhoods, residing as a resident, and it's like, so now it's like, are people going to get involved in these things? Are people going to get involved in these movements for the back end, or or was it ever genuine from the beginning? You know, you have now I have to question the authenticity. Was it genuine from the beginning, or was it a means to an end to get to another financial level? Because that's what it's not looking. It doesn't look. It doesn't look good, man. It doesn't look good with Tamika Mallory. Doesn't look good with this right here. It's not. It's not a good look. And I feel like I said, like I'm not saying that you got to be a bum and not have a home resident place to live and not have a vehicle and everything, but it's just like Star, you know, shout to Star, the Star report. It's like he said, like Tamika Mallory about to pull up for Duante Wright and hop out of the Escalade with red bottoms on. It's like it's becoming materialistic if you're on the front end. And I don't know. I just got to call it out. And they have enough power. They have enough power. They have enough resources. They have enough money to
But
come
see,
out.
but that's
And
what I
explain
always
their
said,
position,
man.
and explain their position, though.
We're creating. It's like, once again, we're at a time where it seems like we're at a shift where, in the Black community, they're giving you your new crop of activists. They're giving you your new leaders, right? We're not picking these people. You know what I'm saying? We're not picking them. Somebody else is picking them, because once they're out there, now Tamika Mallory is being called for all the shows and all the interviews. She's getting asked these are all my Black people questions we're going to ask Tamika Mallory, because we believe she knows, and we're going to put her out there as, you know, one of the Black leaders, right? Patrice Cullors, Black Lives Matter. She knows. She started Black Lives Matter. She knows about Black people. But really, is what she does aligned? Is she really aligned with Black people? You know what I'm saying? Right. And that's where, once again, a lot of the skepticism comes in. Are you aligned with Black people? Are you taking the lies of these men that are getting killed, and then, you know, creating a whole, you know, platform off of that, you know, to get paid? And do you even like men, right? So it's all confusing. It's all confusing. But in our community, everything is designed to be confusing. You know what I'm saying? It's just designed to be that way. But it's all encompassing entertainment. We're seeing our community become just pure entertainment, because these newspapers, all these blogs, all these shows, this is all entertainment. And just like everything else, our community has become entertainment 360. Right. 360. Right. And that's where I don't believe people are looking at us not taking our issue serious, because of the people that are put out there in the forefront. If we have, you know, Black people that don't respect the so-called leadership, then what is everybody else to think? You know what I'm saying? That's where the confusion is, man. You know what I'm saying? They gave us Sharpton. They gave us Jesse Jackson. They gave us all these people. You know what I mean?
I'm perplexed, man. I'm perplexed. Like, as far as how all this goes, man, it's like, if you're going, like I said, if you know, we all deserve these nice things. You know, if we work for it, if you work for it, you deserve it. But there's a way that you go about it, like present it in a way, let people know, like, you have your resources. You could hire publicists to release to the people, explain to the people. You can come out yourself to the people. Listen, this is what I've been able to do through this movement, and then show what you're doing internally for the movement as well, as far as just being the founder and the face. Is like, okay, well, what's going on with these funds? Like, full disclosure and open book. If it's full disclosure, open book, it makes sense. Nobody has a problem with it. But when you just pop out, you just get accused of taking advantage of Black pain and suffering, and then the next couple days later, you release your Escalade commercial. It's like, where's the PR introducing it? Where's the listen? I was able to do this. I was presented an opportunity. This is what Cadillac plans on doing for Black America. You know, something like that. That makes sense to me. You know, listen, our organization has made a ton of money, and outside of that, I was able to generate this capital with other opportunities that came from our organization. So we purchased real estate, you know, and this is what we're also doing with the funds. We're doing these other things over here with the funds that have been allocated to our organization. Like, if you come out like that, lay it all out, let people see it, I have no problem with it.
Well, that's the problem. You know, once all the money talk is sprung on you, then that's where the issues begin. It's been kind of rumbling for years. You know, where's the money coming from? George Soros, all this money, corporate money from here, there, here. And nobody's really come out to really speak about the funding and really what's the money for. Don't continue to tell me the money is for rallies and marches and to fly people in and to have hotels and to this and that. To me, that's not grassroots. That's not organic. If you flying people in, it's not organic. You there should be people wherever it is you going that are from there that should be able to get you cracking. You know what I'm saying? I always believe that it's much better to use the people from the place than bringing some people from the outside that don't know what's going on.
Right.
Because then it looks fake. And I think that's the issue we're having. We see every march and we see the same people. It's beginning to look fake.
Right.
Because why are those same people always showing up?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And then can anybody really insert themselves in, right? Because technically it's kind of like there's a bag involved, because to be honest with you, you could look at any activist, celebrity activist, they could really insert themselves into this march that easy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Tomorrow you could turn your TV on and see Puff Daddy up there now with Ben Crump, Al Sharpton. You know what I'm saying? So now Puff Daddy is getting interviewed by everybody. We need to get Puff in. We need to find out what's going on. T.I. could end up there. Now we need to have T.I. in. Killer Mike. We need to get Killer Mike in now. We need to start interviewing Killer Mike again. Let him make the rounds. Breakfast Club. Drink Champs. Joe Budden. Let's have him hit the circuit. You see what I'm saying? That's all looking like entertainment.
Yeah, entertainment and industry. It's becoming industry and entertainment. That's right. What it's
and I understand. They're gonna say, the ends justify the means, but I'm sick of hearing that.
Yeah, and it's like after a while, it's like those platforms, I get it, those platforms are used to spread awareness and everything, but now we're aware. So we don't need to see you anymore. You know what I'm saying? You don't need to be, it doesn't need to be a regular type of thing. We don't need to see you all the time. You don't need to see you 24/7. Like, like you said, it's like an agent and just booked you on this and that and this and that. And so while you're doing that, what's up with the activist work? It's like we don't need stars and celebrities held up on a platform that are activists. We need activists that's gonna activate.
See, because we don't really know. See, when you're getting that money, you're gonna say and do things that somebody who's standing on shit ain't gonna do. I look at Nick Cannon. You came out and apologized and did all that, but then at the same time, you want people to believe you did that just so you can continue getting to the bag. And if you did do it just because you're trying to continue getting to the bag, you look like even more of a sucker.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm not gonna sit here. I don't want to denigrate Nick Cannon, but it's like, bro,
bought and paid for.
Right. Don't try to act like it's anything but what it is. If you was really standing on what you're standing on, you don't do what you did. You don't apologize. You just let it be what it is.
You hit him with the Muhammad Ali. You know, you stand on what you stand on.
Right, and he wasn't gonna stand on it.
Yeah. So it's like, yeah, man. It's an odd world, man, and that's why we here the 426 show. You know, that's why we're here to try to even out the odds. You know, discuss these things, bring these topics up, and sit back and analyze these things, man, and spread the information and try to make the evens out of the odds going on in the world. So with that being said, I want to thank everybody for tuning in to this episode of the 426 show. But it's not even an episode, though. This is real life. You know what I'm saying? This is what's really going on in the world today. Things that are happening in our world right now. That this like time capsule history that we're experiencing. This is a time like no other in the United States ever. And we're going to be here to document it, and we're going to be here to spread it to our fans. So we want to thank y'all for tuning in.
Peace.
Peace. On to the next episode. Catch us on the next episode. Signing off, I'm Mash. That's Big OC.
Hit the like button.
Appreciate
smash the subscribe button, and leave a comment.
Yeah, tell it one more time. Hit the like button, subscribe, leave some comments, leave your feedback, and catch us on the next episode. We'll be right back at you.
Hit the subscribe button.
Thanks for tuning in to 426 show. Peace.